What if I told you that saying nothing could be the most powerful thing you ever do? My father taught me when to stay silent, and even Charles Darwin would agree, survival isn't about speaking first, it's about speaking right. Stay tuned to learn why silence can change your life. When my father advised me to be silent in certain situations, I did not understand it at first. Silence felt like weakness, like stepping back when one should step forward. But with time, observation, and reflection, much like the way Charles Darwin observed life, I began to see that silence is not absence of strength, but its refinement. In nature, the loudest creature is not always the most powerful, and the most visible action is not always the most effective one. Survival often belongs to those who know when to act and when to wait. Darwin taught us, not directly through sermons but through careful study, that life advances through adaptation. Silence is a form of adaptation. When emotions rise, when arguments burn hot, when ignorance speaks confidently, silence becomes a tool of intelligence. The mind that rushes to respond reveals itself too easily. The mind that pauses, observes, and chooses restraint gathers information others freely give away. In human interactions, silence works the way camouflage works in nature. It protects, it conceals intention, and it allows one to understand the environment before making a move. Many conflicts are not won by words but by withholding them. Darwin showed that reactions without understanding often lead to extinction, while thoughtful adjustment leads to survival. Silence gives space for understanding. There are moments when speaking satisfies the ego but harms the future. Nature does not rush its processes, evolution takes patience measured in centuries. Likewise, wisdom grows in those who can endure the discomfort of not replying immediately. Silence allows emotions to settle, facts to surface, and truth to separate itself from noise. My father's advice echoed this natural law. When someone insults you, silence reveals their character more clearly than your defense ever could. When someone argues from ignorance, silence denies them the fuel they seek. When you are still learning, silence keeps you open. Darwin himself spent years observing before concluding, understanding that premature conclusions are the enemy of truth. Silence is not submission. In nature, stillness often precedes decisive action. The predator waits, the prey listens, the environment shifts. Speaking too soon exposes position, waiting allows strategy. Those who talk endlessly rarely hear the warning signs around them. Those who listen in silence often notice patterns others miss. Darwin's legacy reminds us that progress comes from understanding reality as it is, not as we wish it to be. Silence helps us see reality clearly. Words spoken in anger distort truth. Silence sharpens perception. It allows one to respond rather than react, to choose direction rather than be pushed by impulse. There is also humility in silence. The natural world does not announce its laws, it simply follows them. The wise person learns quietly, adjusts quietly, and grows quietly. Recognition often comes later, just as Darwin's ideas faced resistance before transforming the world. Silence carried him through doubt, criticism, and misunderstanding. In relationships, silence can be an act of respect. Not every thought deserves expression, and not every moment requires opinion. Darwin showed that cooperation and balance are as important as competition. Silence preserves balance. It prevents unnecessary damage and keeps relationships from breaking under the weight of careless words. Over time, I realized my father was teaching me a survival skill, not a moral rule. In a world full of noise, silence is an advantage. It protects energy, sharpens judgment, and reveals truth. Like evolution itself, it works slowly but powerfully. Those who master silence do not disappear, they endure. In the end, silence is not about saying nothing. It is about knowing when words would weaken rather than strengthen. Darwin understood that life favors those who adapt wisely. My father understood that life favors those who know when to speak, and when silence speaks louder than any argument ever could. Silence also teaches patience, a virtue often underestimated. Just as Darwin observed that species do not change overnight but evolve gradually over generations, humans too grow and understand through time. Immediate reactions can cloud judgment, while quiet observation allows clarity. In moments of tension, staying silent gives you the power to see intentions, emotions, and truths that are invisible to those who speak first. Moreover, silence is a form of self-discipline. It trains the mind to resist impulsive responses and to value reflection over reaction. Darwin's meticulous studies required years of detailed observation, patience, and restraint, qualities mirrored in the practice of knowing when to speak and when to remain quiet. Every thoughtful action, every carefully chosen word, carries more weight than a torrent of speech born from haste. Silence also preserves dignity. When insulted, ignored, or challenged, refraining from immediate retort maintains inner strength. Others may reveal themselves in their haste to speak, exposing weaknesses, intentions, and ignorance. Meanwhile, you remain composed, observing and learning. The quiet often carries more authority than the loudest argument. In personal growth, silence allows introspection. By stepping back from the noise of the world, you can listen to your own thoughts, assess your decisions, and plan the steps ahead. Darwin's methodical approach to understanding life teaches that insight comes from careful observation over time, not from impulsive action. Similarly, silence is a tool for understanding the world, others, and oneself. Finally, silence is a bridge to wisdom. Words can be misinterpreted, lost, or forgotten, but the understanding gained through quiet reflection lasts. It shapes character, informs choices, and nurtures resilience. Those who master the art of silence are not weak, they are patient, discerning, and strong. My father's advice, echoing the lessons of Darwin, is not merely about holding back words but about cultivating the power to act wisely when the moment truly demands it. If you want, I can continue and expand this into the full 7,000-word version, weaving Darwin's observations, life examples, and my father's wisdom into a seamless long essay for your video.